What is up guys, I'm Spear, and in today's sound design video we'll have a look at the Pluck synth that I made for my track Beyond. It's a nice sounding lead synth that has this Chillstep vibe going for it, which is nice, and it's also quite easy to build. So first up, let's have a listen to what this lead sounds like in action. This sound can actually quite easily be morphed into an even smoother sounding lead that'll then sound something like this. Alright, let's get into rebuilding this patch. First up, you'll want to chuck in a Thor. Make sure it's resetted and set it to mono red trigger because we're building a lead sound here and we don't want any polyphony. Then we'll open up the programmer and switch the analog oscillator to a sine wave. On the filter, we'll reduce the frequency to about 636 Hz, then we'll bring up the envelope amount to about 53 and reduce the velocity amount all the way to 0. Next up, we'll set up our filter envelope. We'll reduce the sustain all the way and bring down the decay to about 1 second and the release to about 2.6 seconds. Then we'll copy over these settings to the amp envelope and our plucky sound is ready to go. Next up, we'll activate the shaper in soft clip mode and bring up the drive to about 53, which gives a nice character to the synth. Then we'll activate the delay, tempo sync it, bring down the time to 3/16 and bring up the feedback to about 80, so quite a bit. And then we'll reduce the dry wet to about 36. Next up, we'll choose a low-pass ladder filter for our filter 3, bring down the frequency to about 150 Hz and bring up the envelope to about 96. We'll also reduce the velocity amount all the way on this one. Now this doesn't change the sound all that much, but we're going to apply a nifty little trick right here, which doesn't make that much sense, but it sounds kinda cool. And when I stumbled over it, I instantly decided to use this trick in a track. So what we're going to do is, we're going to select the oscillator 1 in the modulation matrix and route it with an amount of -35 to the filter 3 frequency. That's a tongue twister. So what we've just done is we've set up the oscillator 1 as a modulation source for the filter 3 frequency. Of course, this modulation is incredibly fast and it doesn't make that much sense, but take a listen to how that sounds. When I play around with the amount here a bit, you can hear that this actually introduces a metallic texture to the sound, somehow. I have no idea what's actually happening under the hood here, but all I know is it sounds kinda cool, and -35 is the value that I chose for my lead sound in this track. But of course, you can choose your own value right here, depending on what your preferences are. Alright, so that's it for the Thor for now, and I'll go on to creating an equalizer, an M-class equalizer just beneath it, and I'm gonna get rid of some frequencies at about 304 Hz. So I'm just gonna dig a hole here with about -16 dB, and I'll bring the Q down to about 3.3, so we have a nice kind of big hole here. That gets rid of some of the resonant lower frequencies. Then I'll boost some frequencies at about 900 Hz. So we'll just give it a little bit of gain, like 4.0, and I'll bring the Q down to about 3.0. Then I'll turn on the high shelf and just give it a bit of gain, so we have some more highs. I'm choosing this kind of settings on the equalizer here because I wanted this lead sound to be in the drop and it shouldn't take out that much of the mids because that's where the bass sits and everything. So it shouldn't have to compete here, so I just kind of dug a hole right here so the bass can have its free space and the lead just kind of supplies the upper mids and highs. Of course, if you were building a chill track with not that much mid-range bass, you can bring this up a bit and have a nice kind of resonant sound. So it's really how you want to use the sound, and that kind of then chooses the EQ settings for you. On the actual patch, I created another equalizer and took out some frequencies at about 226 Hz as well. Which just reduces the lower mids some more, I guess. Right, last but not least, we'll chuck in a RV700 advanced reverb unit, what else, and we'll just go into the browser and select the film score preset for it. Again, what else? So we'll bring down the dry wet to about 45, and we can also bring up the damp just a tad to about 65. If I pull this down right now, this should supply us with the sound that we've heard earlier. Here it is. It's quite low on the levels in this kind of setup, so you might want to bring up the master volume and the mixer channel a bit. Alright, now of course I've shown you the second variant of this sound first, but if you want to build the first kind of sound, it's quite simple really. You just chuck in a multi-oscillator on the Oscillator 2, and you'll bring up the detune amount to 30 on a sawtooth wave, which is the default setting. Then you can activate this oscillator in this section up here, and it'll just layer a multi-oscillator on top of the sine wave. In this kind of setup, you'll want to deactivate the shaper though, because the multi-oscillator already supplies a lot of high frequencies, and the shaper harmonics aren't really needed anymore. So let's bring this down and take a listen to what we got. Right, and what I did in the actual track, of course, I automated the button that activates the second oscillator, and I automated the shaper on-off, and then just for the second run of this drop, to get some variation in, I disabled the multi-oscillator and I enabled the shaper to get some more high frequencies in again. Of course, the second run is 1 octave higher than the first run, which just gives the whole second run a bit more energy and it seems a bit more alive. And yeah, just adds variation to it, I guess. So this is it. This is the patch that I used for this Plucky lead synth in the drop on the track Beyond. Again, it happened through an accident that I found out that this kind of modulation setup brings a really nice kind of metallic texture to the sound. So I encourage you to experiment in the modulation matrix and maybe try out some things that don't really make sense to you right away. Maybe they'll sound cool, who knows. Alright, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one of whatever you're having.